According to my timepiece, it is exactly 7:30. So happy to have everyone on the line tonight. I'm going to call the meeting to order. Madam Clerk, call the roll.
Okay, Alderwoman West, not here. Alderwoman Tatman. No answer. Alderwoman Reed. Absent. Alderman Carroll. Absent. Alderman Thomas. Muted.
Present.
Okay. Alderman Perry.
Present.
Okay. Alderwoman Dales.
Present.
Yeah. Alderwoman Avant Elliott is not here. Mayor, you have 4 present and 4 absent.
4 present and 4 absent.
I'm sorry, I have 5 absent because Tatman, did you come in? Okay, I have.
She's not on at the moment, but I think she'll be on shortly. But anyway, be that as it may, we do not have a quorum tonight. And so therefore we cannot vote to approve the agenda or any of the items on the agenda. However, to keep this from being a loss for the citizens, we will, because of all of the things that have happened this week in terms of the weather and the streets and what have you, that we will get comments from our citizens. And also we have members of the Riverview Garden School District online with us, and we will have them to share with us tonight on a matter that is very dear to them and us. So thank you all for being here. We will not have our department head report because we can't approve the agenda. But we can hear from our citizens and our school district. So if there is a citizen at this time who would like to share with those of us who are here, we would invite you to do so at this time.
Mayor, I'm sorry. Dinah says she's having computer problems and she's trying to log on. So she'll be in as soon as her computer lets her.
Okay.
Okay.
So is there someone from the public who would like to speak at this time?
Mayor, I'm having computer problems as well. Can you all hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay. All right. Okay. First of all, I think that the events of what happened this past week regarding on a national level lets us know how important it is that we actually know the people that we're voting into office and how important it is to trust those individuals. So I am very disappointed that a member of our board has gone back on their word regarding the Black History celebration. And for folks who don't know, Bellefonte Neighbors traditionally has never had a Black History celebration. The city was formed in 1950, and it wasn't until 5 years ago that Alderwoman Dale approached the former mayor, and he gave permission for a Black History celebration to begin. So there is no traditional Black History celebration. It's just what has been happening in the recent past. And I am discouraged by reading on an unapproved social media network that Bellefonte Neighbors is sponsoring a virtual Black History celebration. Then when we didn't do that. So I don't know from a legal point of view why that is happening. But Mayor, can I ask the city clerk a question?
Sure.
City clerk, On the next door announcement, there is a statement to say that in order to participate in the virtual Black History celebration, we have to call to register to get a number, a Zoom number to call in. So does that mean that it's not the official Zoom number that we call in? Is there going to be a different phone number?
Well, I have nothing to do with whatever, did you say next door? I don't have
Yes,
any,
ma'am.
Madam Clerk,
yes.
were you addressing that to the clerk or the city attorney?
Well, I actually was addressing it to the city clerk because,
Okay, then, well, go right ahead.
and I may not, it may not been the appropriate, I just, again, you're not supposed to assume, but there was a number that it said you had to register in order to get the Zoom number to participate in an official event. That's what it says on Nextdoor. And I understand, city clerk, Nextdoor is not an official social media platform that we use. It's just you have traditionally been the person who has monitored our Zoom meetings for official activities regarding the city. So I would imagine you would know, are we going to use the number that we already call in, the number that I called in, because I can't get my computer to work right. It's making a weird noise. Or is there another number that we were instructed on Nextdoor, again, not an authorized form of communication, but we all know that there are a lot of people who use it. Is there a different number? That's all my question.
As I was answering, I have nothing to do with that, so I don't even know what number he's talking about, but it's not this Zoom platform.
Okay, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Anyone else from the public? If not, then I will ask representatives from the school district to share with us. And I am pleased to have them here with us. And so whoever, at this point, I'll turn it over to you.
All right, thank you, Mayor Pearson. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
All right, again, I'm Ishmael Sistrunk, the Executive Director of Communications at Riverview Garden School District. And with me today, I have Monica Williams Woods. She's the Assistant Superintendent of Human Resources. And I also have Dr. Stacy Nichols, who is the Assistant Superintendent of Curriculum. And so we're here today. Let me see. I'm going to share my screen if that's okay. And what we wanted to do is just go over a presentation that we have put together for Proposition E. We came on last month and our CFO, Mr. Singleton, gave you a brief overview of what we're looking to do with Proposition E, but I wanted to give you a more formal presentation. So I'm going to share this. Find my window. Okay, so I got too many windows going on at once. Here we go.
Alderwoman Tatman, I see you.
I'm sorry I was late. I had a
Right.
emergency.
Right.
I'm here.
All right, clerk, would you mark her present?
I've got her down at 7:39.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, sorry about that. Trying to get back to the top. So again, I'm Ishmael Sistrunk, the Executive Director of Communications at Riverview. And so we're just here to talk to you about Proposition E. I'm going to just blow past some of these slides. If you have any questions, feel free to stop me. If I'm talking too fast, feel free to stop me, because our main goal is to be here to answer questions, and we will make this slideshow available for anybody who wants it. We'll pass it to the mayor, we'll pass it to the city clerk, and anybody else who wants it, we'll make it available for you. But April 6th, 2021, that is the date for Proposition E that'll go on the ballot. It is an operating tax levy increase, and our slogan you see is educational equity, because that's what we're striving for. So these are just our committee members. I won't go over those too much, except on this next page, you will see we would like to have citizens from each municipality. So if there are any citizens on the call today, or anybody who's not on the call that may want to be a part of the committee for Proposition E, then please let us know. And you can let us know through Mayor Pearson. You can drop a line in the chat, just get that information to us. I'll make sure I leave my email address and phone number in the chat before we're done. So what is Proposition E? It's an operating tax levy increase for Riverview Garden School District for the purpose of maintaining the current level of student programs, increasing salaries to attract and retain high quality teachers, support staff, and administrators, striving to regain full accreditation, equipping facilities, and paying general operating expenses. And we'll break down each of those as we go through the slide. What's the difference between a tax levy and a bond issue? Tax levy is an increase in the property tax levy rate and is primarily used to generate operating funds for day-to-day expenses. In short, without reading this word for word, a tax levy you can use for day-to-day expenses. A bond issue is mainly used to upgrade facilities. And so those are the main issues. There was a bond issue in 2018, a no tax bond issue that passed. And so I just want to let people know the difference between a tax levy and a bond issue. RGSD's financial position, this is why we are asking for a tax levy increase. There's a decrease in state funding that's based on the foundation formula. And so you can see that the district has lost approximately $3.5 million over the past 2 years. And that's not due to any mismanagement of funds by the district. That's simply a decrease in the amount of funds that the state has provided to Riverview Garden School District. And so due to that, we're anticipating a $1.8 million fund balance deficit in this current school year. The financial outlook, $27 million is the amount that was spent on the student transfer program. So when the district lost its accreditation, we had to start a student transfer program and basically pay for kids to go to other school districts. And so $27 million was spent sending children to other districts. Now, that student program is ending. I think there's one student in it now, but that is ending at this the end of this current school year. So that'll be off the table, but that's $27 million the district will not get back. We have attained provisional accreditation. So if you hear people say Riverview Gardens is unaccredited, that's not accurate. We're provisionally accredited. We've been given that status since 2017, and we're looking to get fully accredited, but we are not unaccredited, and that's important. Operating tax levy timeline. I'm going to breeze through these unless anybody has any questions, but this just shows some of the information on when the tax rate was set, when we had certain meetings. I'm going to skip through that. District accomplishments. So I just mentioned attaining provisional accreditation is the big one. That was 2017. We gained a 1-to-1 status with technology, meaning while we're in virtual learning, all of our students have a Chromebook or have access to be able to get online, to be able to access their schoolwork. This was in 2021. The student transfer program ended, as I just mentioned, and a host of other awards. I won't read every one of them, but this is just to show you that positive things are happening. Achievement is happening in the Riverview Garden School District. The 2018 Prop R, you may remember that. That was Proposition Rams, and we thank you for your support in passing that. That passed overwhelmingly. And this is Prop E. And again, educational equity is what we're striving for. The campaign goals in 2018, it was to repair, renovate, and revitalize. 2021 Prop E is to equalize resources, educate students to the maximum potential, and equip our scholars to become lifelong learners. These are just some of the priorities from Prop R. And here are just some examples of the work that was done. We want to show you that the district has managed those funds responsibly. You see playgrounds, that was one of the key initiatives. And this old one, you see that's broken up. And I think all of our schools have new playgrounds. This is the high school band room. You see that was tattered and now it's new. We paved, this is our facilities department. They got new paving outside, and this is Central Middle School. And you see this is an HVAC unit that's been put on. And so a lot of work has been done. I believe there are 24 projects from Prop R that have been approved by the board. And so far, 21 of those have been completed. So there's just 3 more left at this point. So we talked about this last time, the priorities for Prop E, expanding early childhood education, expanding transportation. We want to be able to provide door-to-door transportation for students and be able to provide transportation within a mile. Right now, if you live a mile, or if you live within a mile of the district, you have to walk or your parents have to bring you to school. We want to be able to bus students who live within a mile because especially in this weather right now, if we were in session, somebody 3/4 of a mile has to walk to school. We don't think that that's fair. So we want to expand the transportation. Of course, strive to regain full accreditation, enhance the salary schedule to attract and retain high quality teachers, support staff, and administrators. I have a chart a little bit later that shows what our teachers get paid, their starting salary compared to other school districts. So just keep that in mind. We'll get to that. And in school, ensure the school district goals continue to align with the state priority standards. And these are some other priorities that we have. You can read through that. I don't want to take too much of your time, but if you have any questions, please stop me. So this is the slide that I was referring to. Microphone. And so these are the area starting salaries for teachers with a bachelor's degree. And so you'll see Riverview Gardens is down here at the bottom. And to be fair, there's one school district in the region that's lower than Riverview Gardens. That's Normandy, and they're $200 lower. So they're $38,230 or $200 even, I think is theirs. We have that in our fact book. We don't have that on here, but if you look at Pattonville, their starting salary for teachers with a BA, almost $45,000. Rittner, $42,000. U City, $42,000, we'll call it. Hazelwood's about $41,000. Ferguson, Florissant, and even St. Louis Public Schools is almost $1,000 more. So our teachers definitely do not get paid what they're worth. They do a great job. Dr. Spurgeon always talks about how teachers come into the district, they learn, they go to other districts, they go to Pattonville or Rittner, and those superintendents, those principals rave about how well prepared those teachers are. But in Riverview Gardens, just due to the funding issue, we can't pay them what they're truly worth. This is the current tax levy. So we're asking for an operating tax levy increase. The current rate is $4.14 and change for the residential, $4.35 for the commercial, and we're looking to increase them $1.65 to these amounts below. So $5.79 and $6 on the commercial side. What we'll need is a simple majority for this tax levy, and that means 50% plus 1 vote. And again, This just sort of shows what the rate is and how much is expected to be generated. So about $3.5 million would be generated at the current assessed valuation numbers. And just so you can see how it might impact you, these are the current assessed valuation within the Riverview Garden School District. So if your home is worth $60,000, you would expect to pay $188.10 for the year if this operating tax levy increase passes. And so that breaks down to about $15, $16 a month. If your home is worth $80,000, that will be an additional $250. Again, that's for the year. A lot of times that's built into the mortgage. So you'll be looking at another $12, $13 a month. $100,000 home, an extra $313 a year. Now, again, those are based on the current assessment rates and valuations. If that goes up, it could go up. If those go down, these numbers could go down. But these are based on the current numbers. And this is just the ballot language, how it will read. And I won't read through all of that. So I think that's the last slide. Let me stop sharing my screen. And if anybody has any questions, we definitely want to be able to provide you with the information that you need.
All right, anyone have a question for Ishmael?
Yes, sir. My hand's up, Mayor.
Oh, okay. Go ahead and speak, my dear. I
No.
see it now. Oh,
Okay.
hold on,
Apologize
dear.
for
I see yours too. Go right ahead, please.
Alderwoman Dale was up before I was. I didn't know if she had questions. I think she,
Woman Dales, you're muted.
Okay, Donnie, you can go ahead first.
okay. Hello, Ishmael.
Hello.
I had several questions. I'll try to remember them all. You said there were 21 projects completed out of 24.
Yes, that's from Prop R from the
Yes.
2018 bond issue. Yes.
Yes. What are the last two projects?
Those, I would have to get that information to you. I don't know just off the top of my head, but I can definitely find out that information and make sure you have that.
Okay, and could you also the estimated time, start and completion time? Now, and adding on this next proposition, because we have 18 is not completed, right?
18, all the funds have not been used yet, but
Right.
they're in ongoing projects right now.
So what would be your bond debt ratio adding on another proposition? You have those figures?
I do not. That's something our CFO can get to you. You said
Okay.
bond debt ratio.
Yes, please.
Okay, I will have that information sent to you. And keep in mind, this is a tax levy increase, which is different from a bond issue. So they're not the same. The funds are not able to be used the same, but I can definitely get that information for you.
Yeah, but yeah, I just want to know, because sometimes if you still have outstanding bonds or adding on propositions, sometimes that can degrade your rating, right? So that's why I was asking for that. If you can get that information for me. Also, this would go into effect when? If it passes, would it go into effect immediately?
It would go into effect, I believe, once the new evaluation numbers come out. So that is expected this fall, that the new evaluation or the new assessment numbers will happen. So that's my understanding of that.
Okay, if you can get that information
Okay.
to me as well. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
I still have my hand. Well,
Go
You want me-
ahead. Alderwoman Dales.
good evening. The question that I have, if passed, what salary would our teachers be taken to? Do you have a scale? Ishmael.
I'm not sure. I'm gonna have Mrs. Williams Wood. She's our HR assistant superintendent. I don't know. I know that's something the school board would have to approve, but she can definitely give you more insight into that.
Good evening, everyone. I'm so happy to be with you all tonight. I'm also a resident of Bell Fountain Neighbors, so I'm just glad to finally have a chance to take part in the meeting. Now, we have not developed the salary scale yet for our teachers once this passes. However, we will make a goal. It's one of our policies, board policies, to be competitive with area school districts as long as we have the money in our fund balance. So we would again look at area school district salaries, and we will make sure that our salary is competitive with area school districts.
Okay, the next question is, will the increase go from the top up or from the bottom up? From the top down or the bottom up?
So that decision hasn't been made yet. There are a lot of things that we look at. We look at how many teachers are at the top, and we also look at attracting and retaining the staff that we already have. So those are the factors that normally go into developing a compensation schedule.
Okay.
But there will be ongoing negotiations. We have a teachers union with our RGNEA, looking at our finances, and again, looking at the benefits and compensation packages that other school districts offer.
And this is because the constituents are going to ask, is it going to go from the bottom up or the top down? So I don't know, how to answer them when I'm asking them to support this measure, because during the pandemic, we know that our teachers probably need to get paid way more than what they are receiving currently now. So
Understood. Understood. If that's something that we can get an answer for, we will most certainly provide it.
Thank you.
You are welcome. Thank you.
Alderman Tapman.
And just for clarity, and to answer this question, Ms. Woods, so the current teachers, I know you said it's an ongoing process, but those that are currently employed now, is this going to be a new contractual basis where they'll be raised up to the new amount? Will that be a guarantee for those who are already at those levels, as well as attracting new people coming in? So will the teachers, present teachers, get a raise?
Yes, ma'am. So normally what happens is when you develop a new salary scale, you develop a whole new salary schedule. So all of our teachers will be affected by that, not just the teachers coming in to attract teachers, but we would also be able to increase the salaries of the current staff that we have.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Yeah, and I think that is stated clearly throughout the presentation. Also, the fact book that we'll make available for you is to attract and to retain. So it's not just going to be for those new teachers, because we are losing teachers, we're losing support staff, we're losing administrators to neighboring school districts because they know that they can make more money. And Mayor Pearson knows, so I worked in the district a decade ago in a different role. And I believe at that time, Riverview Gardens was actually one of the higher paying school districts in the area. And so, but because of the state funding decreases and because of so many different changes, I believe salaries have been frozen or stagnated to where now, instead of being near the top, we're right at the bottom. And so we're just looking to equalize that to give our staff and to give our students just a fair chance at just competing, being competitive, to retain those staff members so they can stay with Riverview Gardens instead of jumping to Ferguson, Florissant, or Pattonville, or Rittner, or these other districts.
Okay.
Yeah, and that is true. When I was on the board, first went on the Board of Education, Riverview Garden was one of the highest paid district in the area. So, and if we're going to keep up with other districts and maintain the high level teachers, we're going to have to compete with the salaries of other districts. And we can't have people, we can't require people to stay with us out of sympathy. I mean, people go to school to make money, and so we're going to have to pay them And the district belongs to us. It belongs to the taxpayers. It is our district to teach our students, our kids, our children. So if we want them to have a high level of education, we've got to pay for it. There's no other way of getting around that. And other district does it, and we got to do the same thing. Anyone else? Seeing no other hands, Ishmael and Ms. Woods, thank you so much for sharing with us tonight. And we will, everybody will do what they think is best for themselves and our students. Is
Yeah,
there
we,
anyone else who would like to share with us tonight from the public as we prepare to dismiss? I'm sorry, close. You're dismissed in church. Come on now. All right, anyone else?
I just want to say thank you again, Mayor Pearson. Thank you to all the residents
Okay.
and the City Council for inviting us and allowing us to give our presentation. To those we promise answers, we'll make sure that we get those to you. If you have any other questions, I'll put my information in the chat.
Okay, we do have a 3 more questions that I just noticed in the chat. And that is, why did state funding decrease?
That is a complicated question. Dr. Nichols may be able to answer that, but state funding has what's it called, the foundation formula, and the state funding has just decreased. I think it's decreased overall. Part of it is, I see the question about the property value. The property value in the area has gone down. I think it actually has gone up a little bit since we got our accreditation, provisional accreditation. It's gone up over the last 2 or 3 years, but over the last decade in general, as many of you I'm sure know, that property value has gone down, and a big portion of how schools are funded is based on property taxes. So when the property revenues go down, our funding goes down, but there are other things at play with that state foundation formula where we're just not getting funded even at 100% of what the state should get us. I think this year we were funded at about 93%, and the state is just withholding funding from school districts. And that may not impact a Clayton or a Rittner as much as it does Riverview Garden School District.
I've served on elementary and secondary education in Jeff City. People who put the foundation formula together can't explain it. I've gone to so many meetings on what does it mean, and everybody have a different take on it. So, and it was always asked, why can't we come up with a more simpler formula? But that has never happened. Also, there's a question that says, is it attached to property value?
Right. I think I answered that. That is part of the way that we're funded is due to property value.
Right.
And one thing that we're hoping is that through this Proposition E, that we'll be able to regain full accreditation, and that will make property values go up. So that'll be good for the residents. That'll also be good for the school district as well. There's another question that says, please explain day-to-day operations. And basically what that is just through a tax levy increase, the district can spend the funds on day-to-day activities. So we can spend it on programs if we want to develop adult and community education programs, we can do that. If we want to spend it on salary increases, we can do that. The bond issue funds are tied more to facilities. So that's fixing buildings, that's paving roads, that is putting in infrastructure or upgrading technology. But those funds are a lot more restrictive with a bond issue, whereas operating tax levy increase, essentially we could use it for whatever, but we're making sure that we lay out exactly what our priorities are so that we can be held accountable for what we ask for and what we actually do.
And Ishmael, may I add also that one of the things we would like to do is expand our early childhood program. Right now, we only have one early childhood center, and we have a lot of families on that waiting list. So if we could expand that program in our elementary schools where there's space, we can have our early childhood programs in some of our schools, therefore getting more of our, our residents, our students in school earlier versus them staying home and not have access to early education.
All right, one more question. So this tax increase is used at the discretion of the district? That was a question in the chat.
Right. Yeah, I see that here. I believe so. I don't want to speak out of turn. I think it is used at the discretion of the district. The key is that we make sure that we lay out beforehand what our priorities are going to be. So that way you can hold us accountable. It's not that we're just saying, hey, give us some more money. We want to specifically list the things that we want to spend the funds on. And then at each of our board meetings now, for instance, or at least once a month, we give a Prop R update. So we show exactly what the current projects are, what the projects that have been completed. And so that's why I'll be able to get that information to you, Ms. Tatman, because we keep track of that. The board keep tracks of that every single month because we don't want anybody to say, well, you promised us this and you didn't do it. So there's a trail. If you go in the board docs for the district, you can look back at each meeting agenda and see what are the things that have been done. And so we're going to do that the same here with Prop E. We're listing our priorities, and then we'll make sure that we communicate as those things are completed.
Right.
Okay, Alderwoman Dales. Alderwoman Dales.
Thank you, Ishmael. And I'm glad that you said that you're going to lay that out. For speaking for the constituents, and nothing against our superintendent, but we really want, and I'm sure that they do, they want the money to come from the bottom up. The support staff, the teachers, the janitor, those people who support the kids within the schools.
Right.
And not have all of a sudden we get it passed, and all of a sudden the superintendent is making $300,000 and the teachers aren't being taken care of. So I hope that you and Ms. Williams understand that you can take that back to your staff when creating this list. We want it from the bottom up because we want to support those and make sure that they have a living wage that they can live off of.
Absolutely.
And that they can also live in our community as well.
Thank you.
No, yeah, I appreciate it. And you're the first municipality that we're presenting this to. We presented this to our committee, but we're bringing this to Bell Fountain neighbors before we make it public because we want to get your feedback. We want to see what initiatives are important to you. So as we continue to change, this is a living document. It's going to change. We're going to add, we're going to make amendments, we're going to make corrections, but we're definitely going to take this back to the committee and try to make sure that we're living up to the things that you need to see in it.
All righty, thank you all so much for coming by and sharing with us. I want to thank our citizens for being online and sticking with us through this. And for those who wasn't on earlier, I want to apologize for us not being able to have our regular meeting because we don't have a quorum. Without a quorum, we can't approve the agenda or anything else. But we can discuss issues like this. And so I appreciate you all, and it is an attempt to educate our community on things that I believe that matters most to us, educating our kids and keeping our property value up. So thank all of you for being online, and Let's move to adjourn the meet. Alwoman Tapman.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I apologize again for being late. I'm just at this point discombobulated. I want it on the record. I hope that what happened this evening with us not having a quorum doesn't happen too many more times. Um, because there is city business that we need to take care of, including paying our bills and giving our citizens an opportunity to see some of the things that we're trying to implement in the midst of a pandemic and economic hardship. I just wanted that on the record. Thank you.
Alwoman Dales.
This Alderman Thomas, I would also like to voice my opinion that I hope that this is an end that is possibly starting from within the board, because we do have business and we do have community activities that need to go forward. And we do have initiatives that we want to see going through, especially during these days and times.
Alwoman Dales.
I just, I wanted to ask our attorney, since we have 4 members present, we can pay the bills or not. That was my understanding that we could. So
No.
that's
No, you cannot take any votes without
okay.
a quorum.
Okay.
All right.
So let me just clarify this.
We don't want to
When
discuss.
when Alderwoman Levon Elliott calls a meeting of 4 alder people to pay the bills, tell me what the difference is. I want the public to know.
There is no difference. She could not take such a vote without a quorum.
Okay.
Okay.
All righty.
All righty. Thank you all so much. So the meeting is dismissed. Since we can't vote, I declare this meeting ended. And thank all of my department heads for being on. And sorry you couldn't give your report tonight, but I know you double up and do even a more greater job next time we meet. Enjoy the weather and be safe. Good night, all.
Thank you. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night.
Oh.
Mr. Sistra, I'm gonna call you.
Good night.
Okay. Good night, everybody. Wow.
Good night.
Sad. This is sad.
You too.